Hi, Ben here at Numbergroup, here to go over the overview for number translation within Selfcare. So this video is basically designed to show you all the ways that you can affect and configure the number translation settings within Selfcare. So this is quite important. So when you log into the portal for the first time, or when you log into the portal in general, you'll be on this home screen, which is obviously the summary screen. So in order to change the number translation options, you basically click on numbers and select the account on the numbers that they are on. So in this case, we're going to be configuring this number. Now, the two sections we're going to focus on in this video are these two here, summary and forwarding. So if you click on summary, you basically can see the number, when it was allocated to your account, what band it's in. So if it's a memorable number or a standard number, it will tell you which one it is in there. If you've assigned campaign analytics to this particular number, it will basically tell you the campaign of the channel. And if you've configured a standalone emergency address, it will be listed here. And you can also set that using this option here. And below that you have the call summary section, and this basically just gives you a brief overview of the number of calls being received into that number, and the number of calls that have been unanswered, and the duration of said calls. So we'll go back to the forwarding tab, and this is where we do the majority of the settings with regards to the translation options. So at the top you've got the number, that is just it, that is the number. The name is a friendly name so you can identify what the number is for. So this can be anything you like. So we'll just call it Office New. And remember, whenever you make a change, to click Save at the bottom. Now you'll notice that over here that this is now changed to Office New. But you also notice there's a little star after it. The star basically indicates there's no routing options on there. So basically it's not been configured. So as soon as we put something in the translation box over here, that will then disappear. So with regards to the translation options, you click on here, you'll see there's quite a few options available to you. Now, most people will only use a few of these, but I'll go through each one in turn and describe the different options you can use. So the first one is number. So this basically redirects your inbound call from this number to a new number. Now, for the sake of billing purposes, we don't normally allow you to loop the calls to another number group number. It has to go to a number off our network. But so in order to do that, you basically need to put in the international code. So if it's going to a UK number, you need to put 44 in there, and then you just put the rest of the number in, obviously leaving off the preceding 0. So we'll just put a random mobile number in there, like that, and click Save. Once you've done that, that now tells the system that any calls into that number will have been redirected to this particular mobile number. Bear in mind, it can be any number you like, any UK number, any international number. As long as we can reach it, you can redirect to it. Okay, so the next one is SIP. Now this is a bit more advanced, but obviously we'll still go over the options. So if you want to send a call to a SIP destination, so rather than using a trunk, you can actually send a call directly to a SIP address. Now this can either be an IP address or a host name. It depends on what you have set up. So you could, for example, use... Okay, so let's just say you had the domain host.com and you had an A record set up on SIP which was pointing to the IP address of your PBX server. You could use that. The system would then receive the call in and then go OK, and then redirect everything to that IP address or host name. You can also precede the domain or IP address with the presentation number as well. So if you don't put anything on there, we will automatically add the CLI that has been dialed. So in this case, 01329 565 020. However, if you wanted to put something different on there, you could do so. So if you wanted to put something completely random on there, I don't know why you'd want to, but just in case. So let's say you wanted to put 500 678901. Now, then you click Save. So the system will now present that header to your PBX on the end of that IP or the host name. Bearing in mind, obviously, this is reliant on your PBX being configured to basically accept traffic from ourselves directly, and obviously not via a trunk. Now, some people prefer this because it means that they don't have to set up a trunk in order to receive the traffic in or out. You can do it either way, it's really up to you. Okay, so we go on to the next option, we have trunk. Now obviously, trunks are set up within the SIP trunk section. That's obviously covered in another video, it's fairly straightforward. But once you've set up your trunk, you can select it from the list of trunks available on there, and then you click that, and then you click save, and then that's done. All the traffic will then be delivered down that trunk to any device that is registered on the end of it. The next option is PBX. So if you've signed up for our hosted PBX or Lunar PBX, all the extensions you have will be available in this drop-down list here. Now, if you've got more than one PBX, which is possible, you will actually have another box in the middle here, which will actually have the individual different PBX boxes available. So you select the one you want, and then obviously select the destination or the extension you want the call to go to. And once I've done, you click save. So now the system will then deliver the call through to that hosted PBX extension. The next one is fax. Now this is for fax to email. Now one thing you'll notice now is that this box has now been basically greyed out. So you can't actually put anything in there. You do need to, however, put an email address in here. So let's just put my email address in here. No, I'll use a different one. I'll use this one. There we go. Click save. So now, whenever the system comes through and delivers the and a fax is sent through, the system will then send the fax through to this email address at the bottom. Now, you'll know that the fax system is working because if you dial the number normally, you'll get a fax tone coming back at you rather than just ringing. Okay. So the next option, or next two options, are not commonly used now. They're not very popular anymore and they're not really used, but I'll go over them anyway. So Stream basically allows you to play an audio stream from a web-based source. So if you've got, let's say, a radio station based on an IP address or something like that, you can specify the option in there, or the link to it, not the link per se, but the address of the audio, and put that in there and save. When someone calls through to that number, we'll then play that stream to them over the line. The next one is for prompt. Now this is basically used within the IVR structures. Now obviously there are other videos available for the for IVR videos. Links obviously be in the description. So this basically allows you, with the addition of adding additional translation options, to basically provide prompts within your IVR structure. So if you click on the drop down list here, you'll see lots of prompts available. And these are all our default prompts that are available in the system that allow you to basically add them into your IVR structure. In most cases, if you're not using an IVR, you will not need this. Now the last thing on the list is a new addition, which is the webhook function. Now the webhooks is covered in another video. Once again, I will pop a link in the video, probably in the top right hand corner here, and that will obviously link you to that. I won't go over it in too much detail because it is quite complicated, but the webhook system within the translation base allows you to do additional webhook queries and functions within the process of a call, essentially. And that's basically it with regards to translation, but most people will use the top four options. They're the ones that most commonly get used. So let's just, for the sake of this, we'll put it back to trunk and we'll leave it going to my FreeCX trunk. Okay, so the calling number. There are three options available on here. So the first one is as received. So basically, we will just pass the pass the CLI on as the calling number as we've received it. So the caller's number we forwarded on to you. The next option is reveal if withheld, and that is only to be used for billing and fraud prevention services. And it is basically there to reveal the CLI if it is being withheld by a customer and it is becoming problematic, either for fraud purposes, so you need to identify who is calling you and it's becoming problematic, or also for billing purposes. Otherwise, you should not use this function. And the last one is the calling number. Well, the actual call number. So let's say you want to present the number that's been called, so in this case 329565020, and you want to present that number to your trunk or wherever you're translating it to. In that case, you would set that as the calling number, and then we would rewrite it and then send that on likewise. The next option is ring for, and this is basically a ring timer. So you can set no limit. So basically we will ring it, the ring number will ring until it times out normally, it's answered, or the caller gives up. You can also select to specify a time limit in there, so you can select anything you like, so you can put 60 seconds, you can put 30 seconds, you can basically choose whatever you want to. Unanswered calls. Now this is where the voicemail function kicks in. So you have do nothing. So basically, if the call is not answered, the system will just drop the call and do nothing further. You can either set to send a missed call alert. So we will send an email to the email address here, basically advising you have missed a call and basically give you the outline of the details of the call in the email. Or alternatively, you can go to record a voicemail. Now, if you select this option, you'll get an additional little box appearing down here, which is greeting. And this is your voicemail prompt. So basically the prompt that is played to the person who comes through to your voicemail box. And if you click set on here, you'll open the prompt system and you'll have a look and you can see all of our generic pre-configured voicemail responses. You are of course welcome to produce your own. You can either record them yourself and email them to us and we'll upload them for you. Alternatively, you can contact us and we can organise a voice recording professional to get those recorded for you. So the next option down, as you see, we have not got PA call recording enabled on this account. That is covered in a different video. Once again, so it should be a link up in the top right hand corner to take you to that. So, completed call notifications. This basically sends an email to the address here every time a call completes. So whether that's answered, missed, whatever. Now, obviously, if you're receiving a lot of calls into your number, this can become very noisy very quickly. So most people leave this switched off. If, however, you require notification at every time a call comes in and every time that a call has been hit your system into your number, then you can set that to yes, and we will obviously notify you when the calls have come through. I've covered the necessity for that particular option there, and the two options here at the bottom once again are new. They're the additions to the webhook system. Once again, I would advise you refer to the webhook video for more information on it because it is quite complicated, and I don't particularly want to cover it here. This video is basically just to go over the nub of the translation options up here. Okay, and that is pretty much it. I'll go over one other thing. Bearing in mind, obviously, you have the options here, so you can add additional options into the number translation. So let's just use our random mobile. Oh, can't put numbers in there, letters in there even. So let's we got our random mobile number in there. Let's say we want to add another option. You can of course do that. So let's say you want to deliver the call to a landline. I'm just making these numbers up, by the way, so they don't relate to anything, and click save. So basically, now that we've added another option in here, you see that we've got another line down the bottom here which says ring together. If you select that, you'll actually have two more options. You'll have ring in turn and ring in turn evenly. Now, most people select ring together. So basically what this means is that when the call comes through to this number, we will simultaneously ring this number and this number. So they'll ring at the same time. Now, whichever one answers the call first will obviously take the call and the other destination will then stop ringing automatically. There are other options you can do here. So let's just say you want to ring the mobile first and you want to ring this one, but you want to have a slight delay on it so it doesn't ring at the same time. You can do that through the options. So click on options next to the this second option here, and you have an option here that says delay attempting this entry by. So let's put 5 seconds in there. So what this basically now means is the system will call this number first, and then after 5 seconds, it will then start ringing this number as well. So it basically gives you a little bit of a basic call staggering procedure within your translation settings. And bearing in mind, you can add as many as you like, and configure them as you go along. And if you don't want them anymore, you can remove them. You'll also notice a relatively new addition is the fact that we now have arrows on here, and this allows you to move options about if you should need to do so. That's mostly to do with the IVR system, but if you want to obviously remove your translation settings around using these buttons, then by all means you can do so. Just another quick thing to go over within the options. The top one is linked to the IVR system. Once again, that's covered in a different video. The only user variable is linked into the webhook system, as is set variable value. So they are covered in great detail within the webhook video. So the only one you would normally use if you weren't using either webhooks or the IVR system is this particular option here. And I say that is pretty much it. The only other thing I need to include is if you set ring in turn, you can select include busy. So basically this means that if you, as it says there, continue calling additional destinations even if one destination responds with busy. So there we go, that's what it does. So above order will basically ring them in turn above order, and evenly will basically select and evenly ring each one. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, that is the overview of the translation system. If you have any questions or problems with any particular translation setting you're trying to do, or just for more information about how the system works in general, then by all means drop us an email at support@numbergroup.com, or alternatively you can give us a call on 0800 310 1010. Okay, so that's it for now, and I hope this has been useful. Thank you very much.